Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really critical business skill, how to choose the perfect supplier for your company. Getting this part right can make all the difference, so let's jump right in.
So let's start with a big question. Just think for a second about the most successful companies out there. What's their secret sauce? Is it just about having a great product, or is there something else going on behind the scenes? Well, there are a lot of factors, for sure. But one of the biggest secrets to success is this. They are masters at picking the right partners. A company really depends on its suppliers, so choosing good ones is absolutely essential.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll figure out what a good supplier even means. Then, we'll look at how you actually start searching for one. After that, we'll walk through a super helpful evaluation checklist, learn how to calculate the real cost of things, and finally, how to do a quick financial health check on a potential partner. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, defining a good supplier. We're going to start by learning a few key vocabulary words that you'll hear all the time in this area of business. First up, the term right supplier. Now, this isn't just about finding someone who sells what you need. A right supplier is more like a partner. As it says here, they consistently, and that means reliably, time after time, deliver top quality goods, and importantly, they're on the same page as you, working towards the same goals. Okay, so how do you even find these great partners? That brings us to our next term, supplier sourcing. Sourcing is the whole process, the hunt, if you will. It's all the steps you take, from identifying potential suppliers to checking them out and finally signing a contract with them. And right after sourcing, you have supplier selection. This is the big decision moment. You've done all your homework, you've looked at all the options, and now you have to choose which supplier you're actually going to work with. It's when you officially pick your new partner. Okay, let's keep moving. Section 2 is all about starting your search. Here, we're going to get practical and talk about where you can find suppliers and the right way to reach out to them. So, where do you even begin to look? Well, as you can see, there are tons of places. Of course, the internet is a great starting point, but don't overlook old school things like trade journals. And here's a pro tip. Use your network. Talking to other people in your industry can give you the best leads because they have firsthand experience. Once you have a list of potential suppliers, you have to contact them in a professional way. The first step is what we call an RFI, a request for information. Think of this as a first screening to get some basic info and see what they can do. Then, for the companies that look promising, you send an RFQ, a request for quotation. A quotation is just a formal price offer. This is where you ask them, okay, exactly how much will this cost me? Now we're getting to a really important part. Section 3. The buyer's evaluation checklist. This is your secret weapon. It gives you a structured way to compare all those suppliers who sent you a price quote. Let's break down this checklist. First on the list is reliability. Basically, can you trust them? What's their reputation like? Are they an honest company? Then, you've got financial factors. You have to look at the total cost, not just the price, and see if they're willing to negotiate. And finally, technical capabilities. Do they have the skills to help you out if you have special or custom needs? Moving down the checklist, we have delivery and availability. This is huge. Will your stuff arrive on time? Do they even have it in stock? You also want to think about buying convenience. Is it just easy to do business with them? And of course, quality. This is non-negotiable. Their products have to meet your standards, which means they need to have good quality control in place. And the last part of our checklist is all about support. How's their sales assistance? Do you get personal help when you need it? What about after-sales service? What happens if something goes wrong after you've paid? And finally, just general customer service. Good communication and clear rules are so important for a healthy long-term relationship. All right, on to Section 4, calculating the true cost. This is so important because, as the subtitle says, the real cost of something is almost always more than what's on the price tag. And that brings us to a super important business term you should know. Total landed cost, or TLC for short. This is the complete cost to get a product from your supplier's warehouse all the way to your front door. It's not just the item's price. It includes every single related cost along the way. This formula here shows you what I'm talking about. To get the total landed cost, you start with the product price, but then you have to add in transportation, customs fees, insurance, and handling charges. This is exactly why a product that looks cheap at first might actually end up being your most expensive option. So let's just quickly run through those 5 components again so they really stick. 1, the product price itself. 2, the cost of transportation or shipping. 3, customs duties and taxes, which governments charge for importing goods. 4, insurance for the cargo while it's in transit. And 5, all the handling and management costs.
All right, we're on the home stretch. Our final section, checking financial health. You have to ask this crucial question. Is my potential supplier financially stable? Because a great supplier isn't so great if they suddenly go out of business.
So how can you check? Well, you can use a couple of simple financial formulas called ratios. Don't worry, they're not as complicated as they sound. The first one is the working capital ratio. In simple English, this ratio just answers one question. Can this company pay its bills that are due soon? A healthy number here is a good sign.
Another really useful tool is the debt-to-equity ratio. This one tells you how much the company is relying on borrowed money versus its own money. A company with way too much debt can be a really risky partner, so a high number here could be a red flag.
But more than any single formula, what you really want to see is what's on this slide. The most important thing is a history of making a profit year after year. That's the best evidence you can get that they're a stable company that's going to be around for a long time.
Phew, we've covered a lot. So let's boil it all down into a few key takeaways. When you're picking a supplier, these are the big things to remember. The quality of their product, competitive prices, how dependable their delivery is, their financial stability, the services they offer, and of course, their overall reputation.
We've gone through the whole process today, so I want to leave you with a final question to think about. Now that you know all these different factors, which one do you think is the absolute most important for your business? Or maybe a business you hope to have someday? Thanks so much for joining me for this lesson.